Well, just quickly, since you just mentioned Georgia and they are the two-time defending national champion, what did you see from the Dogs and their 48-7 win against UT Martin?
The defense is elite once again. I mean, the speed is unreal. Georgia's defense didn't drop off at all. Hey, Andy, how you doing, man? Glad to have you in there. Share with everybody. Have them come in here, Andy. But no, the thing that we saw early on was I think Georgia was trying to be super vanilla and just use it almost as like, okay, we're going to treat this as like let's just execute and stuff like that. But Lad McConkey didn't play. Dejan Edwards didn't play. There's a lot of guys that they didn't decide to roll that have been nicked up injury wise. But plain and simple, Georgia did not execute for a good 2.5 quarters on offense the way that they're going to need to execute going forward. And, Carson Beck at times had some struggles. But other than that, I mean, you saw that defense dominate. And I think the same thing could be said for Tennessee. Tennessee's defense played lights out, but Joe Milton didn't, for a good portion of that game, didn't execute the way they thought. So two quarterbacks that I think people are expecting a lot out of just were rusty in their first starts.
Trey says he thinks that Beck and Georgia struggled a bit. I mean, you talked about it, Blaine. It wasn't the most crisp performance from Georgia, but I was gonna to go off of what you just said about Joe Milton. Like, I guess just from a with Carson Beck, what stood out maybe positive, negative in terms of just what you saw. And again, it's UT Martin. I mean, not to knock them, but there's only so much you can gain. But anything notable there?
The positive for Georgia and Carson Beck is that he had command of the offense in terms of they were making a lot of checks at the line, all that kind of stuff. So he knew what was going on with protections and all that kind of stuff. But man, Georgia's offensive line just didn't push people around. Georgia got the best offensive line in college football. I'll tell you that. That is a fact. I'm telling you, they were up there with. They're going to have four guys probably get drafted off that offensive line, and they just did not come out and play the way that they're going to play later on this year. I don't believe, and then more so with they had a couple of drops, things like that. It was just a lack of rhythm. Also, they're breaking in, Mike Bobo once again, so I think there was probably some, filling that out situation in a live game. Again, I think you'll see improvement week 1, week 2. But here we go. We're talking about Georgia wins 48-7, and people are like, man, they struggled. And then you're talking about Tennessee winning by what, about the same score over there against a Virginia team that's probably not much better than UT Martin, 49-13. I mean, so it is what it is. But